June 1st, 2025. Last night outside my apartment, the guy in my old apartment spawned a scene. And Mommy Dearest that stays with him now, outside, running their shit ass mouths. They said, boy, that's a nice car she has. Some girl thought as she said something about her, that the police would take that car from her and hand it to him. And she'd get stuck making the payment while she drove that nice car. They said it don't work that way. The most they do is prosecute people. And it's a shame because that's a nice car. Thieves. But he's got the word Jesus on the back of his truck. Spawn of Satan. Well, he brags. Okay. I told you I went to Altman Family. We're going to forget him for a minute. I went to Altman Family Physicians. The doctor at the end was reading notes. And she was mumbling while she was reading notes. Okay. Said, some office hired some psychiatrist on their own. Psychiatrist said she hurts herself. If she said she got bashed in the back of the head, she was probably beating her own head. Really? She couldn't handle her divorce, so she was hurting herself. Don't say a word. Because it was just some office hiring some psychiatrist on their own. I'm like, oh my Lord. That was the stupidest mistake you ever did. That was the dumbest mistake. Because you just proved yourself that it's not my doctor. Oh my God. And that you're pulling your fraud's game. Name a losses, name a dirty doctor that likes to drug, beat, and rape people in their homes. That was a stupid mistake. Altman Family Physicians right behind Altman Hospital. Get the name of office and dirty doctor. It's right on Google. No doctor can treat you without signed consent. It's medical negligence and medical malpractice. They don't have a right to even put opinion on you. You're not their patient. They can't be hired to do something to you. And they can't treat you. And if they treat you, it's assault and battery. Like some lady investigators where they drugged her, it's assault with a deadly weapon. I told you where this whole thing's, they were laughing on May 25th, 2025 up in Summit Mall in Hollister, teenage boys. Boy, did that Bill from the Freemasons run a big scam here. He had some guy go in and tape her in the shower washing herself. Okay? And then Photoshop that in the other room. Can you imagine taping somebody washing themselves and they're giggling? Then he had some guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say stuff. Can you imagine somebody drugging somebody up and telling them to say something like that? Then he ran a contest off of it. Who could come up with the biggest scam to steal her money? And scammed everybody into helping out. That's where we got the scam of Melissa's kids that documented Mean Games of Pretend. Tell you what, you get a hold of Officer John. Oh, these people are going to get in trouble for interfering in an FBI investigation. An open one. Like Officer John stopped men at the door, January 12th, 22, 4:55 p.m. What did those kids get caught stating? They made everything up. They taped them in an FBI case. Their mother telling them to lie and them stating they were lying in a legally bugged house. Got it? They have John defending me that she was going to only have the kids make it up because of the divorce, going to be moving out, but nobody could ever say anything bad about you. She have her church people make up something too, but trust me, Mom, nobody can say anything bad about you. They have the kids giggling in the basement, how they want the house for Auntie Shell and Papa. And then later on the floor, they made everything up. They were games of pretend, giggling. Flora, October 23rd, 2019, told a bunch of adults that, of course, it never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Sitting there chuckling. If she wouldn't have stated it, I would have never known. The cops and feds wouldn't tell me. They just told me they'd make up something, call me a bad word. And then they were like, Melissa's so stupid. She made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. Like, great. And then going through her different lies. And then the mean game of pretend, they just said they'll make up something, call you a bad word. She was in it with a drugger that said he worked for Dave and wrong nightgown and bending over and probably accidentally see your butt, life of pain. Made up more lies like vandalizing their church, breaking in a home, tying your arms and legs to a chair, knocked it over, kicked it over and jumped out a window by Christmas 18. Told people that I shot up a home and killed someone. That's Dave. They made up a lie that on the 4th, where I was outside with everyone, that they came upstairs, looked through a crack in the bathroom door, and seen you being weird with yourself. It's like, that's disgusting, and I was outside. And who's being a pervert if you're looking through a crack in the bathroom door? You are. Somebody's wiping their butt, they could be putting yeast infection cream on. It's the stupidest, dumbest lie in the world. And I was outside with everyone else. And my family already verified that one. I was outside with everyone else, and they never came upstairs from the pillow fights. They took 2 bites of their food and ran to the basement, having pillow fights. And I walked outside with everybody else. They weren't there less than an hour. John was starting to go through a divorce. Everybody came up. We had our dinner. And I had did up the dishes. Everybody's drinking coffee. He's like an hour late. Said he took his kids to a park. Okay. And they come in. I make them a plate of food. I took a picture of everybody sitting on the couch. Okay. While the food's heating up. They take 2 bites around the basement. I grab some bottles of water. Me and Jen go outside. We sit on the front porch. You can hear them giggling from outside. Pillow fight, screaming and laughing. There's a sectional couch because it was a family room. A TV, a full bathroom, and a laundry room, and our puppies were down there. And Gabe, Noah, John were playing ball. Wait a minute, let me take that back. It was Dave, John, and Noah playing catch. And Gabe was running the lawnmower, our new running lawnmower around. We were all outside. We got too warm. We came inside. We dished up some dessert. We didn't even get all the way sat down. Dave comes in. John left. I said he didn't say goodbye. He said he's in a hurry because it was the 4th. They're starting to go through a divorce. They're sharing the kids. So he had to leave. He wasn't there less than an hour. Like I said, I seen him at the table. 2 minutes. See, that's where, what the fuck? I mean, I hadn't seen them again until the FBI was there. Then, okay. And then before that was Walmart, Maslin. We went to buy curtains. And they come running and ask Grandma, Papa, what you doing here? Buying curtains for the basement. What are you doing? I don't know. Mom and time passing each other. Okay. Before that, we had to drop off John's stuff. She comes outside. Hey. And I said, hey, we just got John's stuff put against the house. Her and the kids came out and said hi. Didn't see her till Christmas with the bikes. We only seen John and Melissa usually on holidays. They both had their careers. They had their own friends. That or they were fighting, breaking up. He was out back with Kelsey. Hmm? They had their own lives. It wasn't like Danny and Jen and Josh, where they lived within a mile or two of me, and they were always coming over and visiting and having dinner. Hmm? And when John and Melissa didn't go to church, they went drinking a lot. Hmm? They had their own friends. They had their own lives. We seen them on holidays. Told you. Then Christmas at 17 with the bikes, her whole family was there. Made fun of Dave for having pot in his system. Getting suspended. Seen him before Christmas at Dairy Queen on Fulton Road. We all met there to have ice cream and sandwiches, give us their Christmas list of what they wanted. Hmm? Before that was my 50th birthday party. Melissa sat next to me. Hmm? Kids had relay races. Hmm? At our old house on Lenox. Before that Mother's Day, they dropped off a plant. Then we go back to the next Christmas of the giant teddy bears and gifts. And then we're into Christmas of 2016. See what I mean? I didn't see anybody and not alone. And that's where I laugh on the tape. I haven't even been around them 6 to 10 minutes the whole year and not alone. What the hell they're talking about? See what I mean? But they got caught stating in an FBI case. The FBI caught Melissa friends with Dave's new girlfriend, had the kids make up the me games of pretend. And then on Thanksgiving of 18, that they wanted the house for Auntie Jo and Papa. Grandma needed to get out. Then later on to Flora, they made everything up. They were games of pretend laughing. I go upstairs and I sit down next to Dixie. The floor comes running up. They're saying mean things in the basement. I go up to John. What's going on? He's like, I don't know. He said, I told Melissa you're moving out, going through a divorce. You'll just have the kids make up something. But don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too. But don't worry about it, Mom. Nobody can say anything bad about you. It's just made up because of the divorce and you're moving out. Shouldn't have said anything till it happened, but I did. And since I did, and I already told him you're moving out and going through a divorce, and it's just going to be made up, and nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. I go to Dave to clarify everything. I said, Dave, I've never hurt anyone. He said, Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids, you would never hurt anyone. You're good to everyone, no matter who it is. You guys wait. Officer John shows up, or Officer Mark. He already yelled at goons at the door, Officer John. What did those kids get taped stating? They made everything up. Even the Stark County sheriffs in uniform that worked my FBI case was laughing at some guy named Kurt in 21, May of 21, and Kurt just found out those kids are lying. He's slow. I was in Walmart 62 not 2 months ago, and they were in there talking. People were in there talking. She's some kind of FBI informant. She never even got question of those grandkids because they said the police taped them saying they were lying years ago. I know. You know, in the beginning of the case, they said Will is selling the login for $25 a pop. He found a new way of making money off the case. Went viral. Bill from the Freemason was selling government technology. Okay? That's where I was out in Alliance. They said they all looked up Thanksgiving of 18. None of this is funny. Those kids said that they were saying they were lying. I know. They're documenting me games of pretend. See, that's where you can't just say something about somebody. You have to have proof. You have to have proof. My new husband, Carl, his granddaughter knew her husband was hurting their child, she wouldn't do anything. You can't hide stuff like that for long. Okay? He got caught. He went to jail for the rest of his life. She went to jail for years. She never hurt that child, but she went to jail. You know why she went to jail? As an accessory. She didn't report it. See, that's where I learned in notary class. If a doctor knows someone's being hurt, they don't report it. They go to jail as an accessory and can never hold a license again. See, that's where, because they were mean jokes she made up, there's no emergency room report. No police call, no police investigation, no prosecution. Because they were mean jokes. They were talking about that girl lying everywhere in 21. I was out with a client on October 5th, 21. They were in Huntington Bank. We'd never want Melissa to get a dime out of this. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They didn't want anybody to help her. We go to leave. He's like, who's that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying. Everywhere we go, that's all they talk about is that girl lying. I said, my ex-daughter-in-law, friends with ex's girlfriend, had the kids make up some mean games to pretend on Thanksgiving of 18. He's like, it's been years, and they're still talking about that girl lying everywhere. They used to yell it on the streets of Louisville, Melissa's lies. Her kids told all kinds of people. They were lying too and laughing. You know, the police said, Melissa's so stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She did it during the FBI case. That's why no one was taken to the hospital. No police were called. Nobody questioned me. Why? Because they were mean jokes trying to scare me out of the house. The police and FBI had a huddle. They already sold the login, so it don't matter. It's already public. They had a huddle in the front of Walmart. Why are they having those kids make that shit up? Oh, they're just trying to scare her out of the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. Our whole family, they spoke highly of her. They also showed up and said the same thing June 23rd to July 4th of 21 by the panel. What are these people talking about? We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She never hurt anyone. Girls that dated the drug dealers. Oh my goodness, the boys had to drug her to make her say that stuff. Nobody mentions those tapes again. Same ones, March 23rd, 23, Walmart 62. We told these people stay out of it. We interviewed her whole family. She's never hurt anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. And it's just some lady thought she could make money off of it. Those were FBI agents yelling at you from the Belden office. They thought they fooled the FBI and they thought they left. They never left. They wanted the cartel they were messed up in. But think about this. If something actually would have happened, she didn't take him to the emergency room. She didn't have him call the police. She didn't get those kids out. She would have went to jail as an accessory. It's a good thing they're mean jokes. And never allowed around children again. Like Carl's granddaughter. See, just like they thought they were funny. That bill from the Freemasons, kids were laughing May 25th, 25, up in Hollister's and Summit Mall. Boy, that bill from the Freemasons ran a big scam here. And they're cackling. He had some guy go in and tape her in the shower washing herself. Can you imagine taping somebody washing themselves? And then Photoshop that in the other room. And then had some other guy go up there and drug her up and tell her to say something like that. Can you imagine drugging somebody up and telling them to say something like that? Then he ran a contest of who could come up with the biggest scam to steal her money. And he scammed everybody into helping out. That's where April 24th, 25, Summit Mall. You tell that guy Will up there he has to pull off a scam to join us. And it's all wrong because Michelle told on him for that doctor not being one of hers, but works for them, and they lied. You tell him we said to take care of Michelle. Cartel showed up May 26, 25 at Walmart 62. We heard they were making fun of Bill from the Freemason scam in Summit Mall. We're tired of Bill. His scam ruined of the doctor not being one of hers and works for them, and they lied, and he that other cartel dare say that he should take care of Michelle for telling on them. They're not the one running it. And who does he think he is that cartel could tell him to take care of Michelle? Michelle says she's really nice. She had said how to take care of herself. Well, I did a video, put it up, told her to get to an FBI office or the police, and offered information on those other people, and maybe they'll put her in a witness protection program. They were threatening harm on her. That's where they said we all know what kind of threats they were putting on Michelle. And do they want more? And they're threatening a drug war over this. Florida against Texas, because it was a Texas group up that day. Middle Eastern men, a lady in her job, was a Texas group. The Texas group brags they dismember people. That's why it's like, dear God, Michelle, get to the FBI office. Okay? But all they have is a roofie. They played. It's supposed to be Bill from the Freemason, his attorney friend, and his dirty doctor friend running drug scams on people on their own. Breaking in, stalking people. Have his dirty doctor friend break in and stab that poor woman with a date rape drug and tell her to say something like that. Think about that. Then beat him, rape her. Some rapist. Come out of it, don't know what happened to you, never seen or talked to anybody, take a drink out of a drink, the room go dizzy and black, or wake up with an injection mark, bruises, throwing up, headache, almost passing out, and severe personal infection, and I'm blaming the dirty well water, thinking it gave me cancer. Almost passing out in front of people. Like Walter Moss used to work at the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, Karen. It's a fraud scheme. It's a big fraud scheme. Where they laugh at you, in stores in front of people. They laugh at you that they Photoshop that shower scene and washing yourself. It's clicking and pasting. Everything's digital. And then where they said they drugged you and told you to say it before, we all know you're sleepwalking with those date rape drugs, and you had to be seen by the doctor for all the signs of being drugged, being raped. Somebody was hurting you, even though they didn't think of a rapist. Somebody was hurting you. And we all know you sleepwalk with those date rape drugs. It's a big fraud scheme, Karen. Exactly. It's read on Google. No doctor can treat you without signed consent. It is medical negligence, medical malpractice. They have no right to even put their opinion on you. It's HIPAA and Privacy Acts too. They have no right touching anybody. That's not a signed patient. You have your own rights. They do not have, and if they treat you without your signed consent and permission, or they're stabbing me with date rape drugs, and drugging me up their fake sodium pentothal reports, like a lady investigator said, that is assault with a deadly weapon. It's considered assault and battery. 20-year sentence. How stupid are these people? Where the FBI called them dumb. And how dumb they are trying this. And that nobody fell for any of this. They didn't fall for the dirty doctor scam and it sounded mechanical. You knew they altered everything. And the weird with yourself, they already knew it was a shower scene in the other room. Or washing yourself. And they photoshopped everything. Are they going to be that dumb? We told Agent John to go tell on her at that church before he talked to her and to act as dumb as these people. That's why he's telling people he didn't care. He was being drugged, being raped, being a cop. To Apostolic Church of Barberton before he talked to me. And then confessed on a recorded line he told on me. Or he talked to me. And then talked to me horribly on the phone. Before he opened the case. Now, think about that. May 22nd, 25, Walmart West House. They tape an audio everywhere. Okay? Guy comes in while I'm walking around. Yells out they hired a neuropsychiatrist on their own. He said the way he questions people, he drugs them up and tells them to say stuff and then tries to get it out of them. They can't do that. No. It's assault with a deadly weapon, medical negligence, medical malpractice, and assault and battery. There's HIPAA violations and privacy acts. They cannot hire a doctor, some dirty attorney, some dirty doctor working with Bill and the Freemasons running a scam on somebody. Stalking tapes by a dirty attorney and a dirty doctor breaking in, drugging some woman up and beating, raping her in her own home and running a scam on her. You go to jail for that. See where it's a contest of scams? There was a scam of 2 grown women, heavyset blonde women, say that they were Dave's illegitimate daughters. They were stealing for them. There was a young girl saying she was one of Dave's side girlfriends. He got her pregnant, and she was going to steal from me because Dave got her pregnant. It ain't my child. You go after him for child support. See, that's one thing. You have child support, it don't matter if the other person's getting alimony, and they don't care if they leave that person with a dime. They make them pay their obligations to the ex-wife and to the children first. See, if that was true, she would have went to child support. They would have attached to Social Security too. They made up a scam that Agent John was in. Okay, I went, and I told my friend Matt what was going on. He works in a factory. He races horses professionally. He went to the racetrack, talked to a drug dealer. They said the Ohio drug dealers were saying that agent was in debt to that drug dealer, and that's why he let it happen. Well, he also had a friend on the police department. So by the next week, he went to the police department, showed up with the U.S. Marshals. Okay? Then the drug cartel was telling people that ass stole all the money from the case to buy gay male prostitutes. Said it in front of people. I almost lost it. I did laugh at that one. That makes you icky. I don't care if you're gay, but pay for your own prostitutes. But then they said he was stealing for his girlfriend. Okay. Then they made up the scam of Melissa's kids, the mean jokes, the drugs and told to say it, photoshopping and washing. They had a scam of the first person she tells everything to gets the money. They scammed everybody. Get it? There was a hurricane of scams. The scam of the chip to cover up being stabbed in the neck, bashed in the head, beaten, raped, and almost left for dead, 12/21/18. Michelle already told the federal agent they did it, that they bashed my head in and they tried to kill me. Or leave me incompetent and it didn't work. Okay, December 16 of 18. If you want the people that bashed my head in, you'll have surveillance of them too. December 16 of 18, I went down to meet Darlene for pie at Bob Evans. I go in, there's this guy, 6'5", 6'7", or more, like a lumberjack, big as a WWF wrestler. His thighs are as big as your waist, okay? He's bald, white, black square glasses, long red beard. Okay, comes in, sits there. There's a 50-year-old blonde lady sitting with him. Over in the corner are 4 men. Okay, he says, I'm Karen's handler, and those are my men. Well, one's going, and I look over at him. He said, oh, he's a big Karen fan. He watches her and Dave in bed for hours. She's like, I'm a psychiatrist. They were actors. They told everybody they were FBI handlers. Okay? January 19, after I was bashed in the head and knocked out, I still have a dent. I had migraines for 2 or 3 years on my side of my head. Felt like my head was going to explode. Had to be treated for it. Okay? They're back in Bob Evans, and the fake FBI handlers, the men that were with that big giant guy, they were admitting that they left that white comb on Dave's dresser, and the one guy was holding me down when they attacked me. And Dixie seen them follow me in Maslin and several times around me a lot. They were stalking me. Okay? The white-haired guy with his hair parted on the side. And the guys with the dark hair with him. There was 4 of them. Okay? That crazy blonde lady, she said, if she tells on Dave for beating her, I'll write it up that she hurt herself. So I taped Dave admitting to beating me. It's like, don't mess with me, bitch. And then she's like, if she tells on us hurting her, I'll write it up that she hurt herself. But psycho. See, like Dr. Gagnes at Altman Family Physicians. Karen, you have injuries you can't do to yourself. I knew someone was hurting you. See, there's the whole point of time where they're supposed to, they would laugh at me that they drugged me up and told me to say weirdo stuff. It used to make me vomit. Okay? I talked to the neighbor Jim about it years ago, how they were laughing at me. He said, I hope they didn't do it. I said, I hope not too, because I never seen her talk to anybody, and I thought it was a dirty well water giving me cancer. Just showering in it. I said, the thought of somebody playing with me like that. And they said that filthy, dirty, they laughed at me. How they drugged me up and told me to say that filthy, dirty statement. Years ago. Admitted they drugged me and told me to say it. Years ago, laughing in my face. Like my one client said, Karen, this is crazy. People admitting to drugging you and telling you to say it before, and admitting to raping you in front of people in stores. I'm like, stay out of it. I'll tell the police. Like my friend from the prosecutor's office. It's a big fraud scheme where they laugh at you in front of people in stores. They drugged you and told you to say it before. We all know you're sleepwalking with those date rape dogs. And when they laugh at you in stores that they photoshopped a shower scene and washing, it's clicking and pasting. Everything's digital. See, that's where Danny and Jen really didn't know anything. On April 1925, the FBI shows up how dumb all these people are for doing that. They didn't fall for any of it. And they even said they knew they were framing my youngest son, and he didn't know anything. He actually knew nothing. I went to him on Christmas Eve of 22, asked him if he knew where they kicked in my door on the 6th day, and Dave said it was a realtor passing out keys. Don't report it. Yes. Did you know about button cameras? No. I said, did you know about a shower scene of me washing myself in another room? No. I said, do you remember the orange, lemon, and grapefruit sized bruises I was almost passing out, including from the neighbor outside? And it kept happening. Throwing up, dizzy, almost passing out, having bruises on me. Yeah, I remember that. Did you know they were drugging me and beating me? And tell me to say weirdo stuff. They're laughing at me in stores. No. Thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. Kids came out of the room and hugged me. Grandma's at what's going on. Okay? So I kept going back over there. They were laughing that they sold kiddie porn and my grandkids going potty. And I'm trying to gently tell them about these perverts. I said, well, they have a shower scene in the other room. They taped everybody who's in the bathroom. Well, John's like, well, I hope it's gassy. I said, you don't understand. Everybody is the bathroom. I look over at the kids, let them know some pervert has kitty power. And she's like, great. Okay. Well, Shay was over Gabe's girlfriend. I said, do you know how scary it is? And literally scary. The thought predators were watching me living my life. She said, Karen, that's scary. I said, and taping me in the shower and photoshopping a shower scene. Weirdos. She's like, Karen, that's scary, somebody playing with you like that. I said, what's worse? I would come in and wash my hands, make something to eat and drink, go use the bathroom, wash my hands, come out and take a drink out of a 2-liter Diet Coke. And the room would go dizzy and black. I'd wake up with injection mark, giant bruises, throwing up, almost passing out, and they'd break that they were drug and beating me and tell me say weirdo stuff. Jen's like, I seen all those bruises. And I didn't think about it. She had them everywhere. Shay's like, this is scary. I said, trust me, I know. I thought it was a well water giving me cancer. Jen's like, I thought she was working too hard and bruising too easy. Okay? Jen's mom died. And they had a memorial service April 16, 23. Afterwards, I go out to my car. Danny's not too far off in the parking lot. He don't know I know. He walks up to Gabe and Shay and said, I finally went to Dad. I asked him, what on earth is going on? He said he hired some guy named Pete on his own. Pete has him. It was Pete and his men in our home. Pete has her framed. And then he said the filthy, dirty statement. Supposed to have her tape saying da 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 da. He has her framed. Or some guy named Pete. I thought, oh my God, you put a name on it. They already met it years ago. They drove me and told me to say it. I still don't know who he is. I don't know who the dirty doctor is either. I doubt the psycho blonde lady is. It's probably a front. Or who actually did it. Got it? Because she was with the drug cartel that was impersonating FBI agents, hurting people. Okay? See, that's one thing. You can't just roofie someone and tell them to say something and beat and rape the poor thing and they don't know what happened to them. Never seen her talk to you. Just leave a poor victim like that and they don't know what happened to them. Going to the doctor for injuries they can't explain. Okay? You can't just roofie somebody and tell somebody to say something stupid. There's nothing to back it. Like Dr. Haben's office on Frank Road across from the old Fishers a little bit down. He's still in business. He was my kid's pediatrician from 1984 to about 2002. Our insurance elapsed and then we couldn't afford it. But in the meantime, he was my kid's pediatrician for 18 years. I went in there in like 2001, 2002 when I was in the middle of the medication air swelling. I was huge from taking the wrong meds. He said, Karen, he said, I have never had to worry about you abusing your children at all. He said, no signs of it at all. He said, them being neglected, being mistreated, there's nothing. I never had to worry about your children. And them not being well taken care of. He said, but you come in here with bruises on you. Big ones. The only one I worry about in that house is you. See what I mean? There's people, investigators even said they went over and talked to Dr. Haben, said there was no abuse or he would have reported it. See what I mean? You can't just drug somebody up like that with a roofie and tell them to say something and then there's no proof of it. You actually have to have medical proof documented. There isn't any. All they got is a roofie A mean game of pretend and a photoshopped of a shower scene in a fraud scheme. That's what they got. Where that idiot was outside my apartment with Mommy Dearest. That's a really nice car. I know. Some girl thought if she said something about her, the police would make him give her a car and make her make the payments. And they said they don't do stuff like that. They just prosecute people. And she thought she could steal that car. I know, it's a shame. See, these people are nothing but thieves. Remember in January of 19, remember the truth. They'll try to implant lies. They'll try to steal everything you have in life. It's an extortion group. Bills from the Freemason scam to get in the cartel. That was doomed from the beginning. You want to learn how to run a scam? Watch Leverage on TV. It's an old sort of comedy, whatever show. Bad guys turn good guys, running scams on bad guys. Maybe you'll learn something. Yours was doomed from the beginning. Doctors cannot treat other people without their signed consent. If they do, it's medical negligence, medical malpractice. You cannot hire a doctor on your own to evaluate somebody. Those are HIPAA violations and privacy thing. Your medical care is your own, and no one can interfere in it, and they can't. See, that's where you can't just pay somebody to write up fraud. They touch you, it's assault and battery. And like an investigator said, it would be assault with a deadly weapon, drugging you up. See, you have no right touching somebody. You have no right stalking them either. You know, to cover up the attempted murder, they made up a scam of chipping me. And in January 19, they were in Walmart 62. The original investigators documented it. They were running that scam on me to cover up attempted murder. And they were telling everybody. My neighbor, Amy, even told Carl, my new husband. I heard him outside laughing that they were running that scam of chipping her. And it's a big scam. Well, see, that's where it's the drug cartel. They were framing the Portage County Police, the FBI, and they were framing Chief Zawinski, and they were framing Judge Timothy Ludick and Judge Stephen. Bill from the Freemason, what do you have against them that you think you should be able to frame these law enforcement? And these judges, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. See, they had fake FBI badges. March 13, 21, I go into Mercy Medical. A heavy-set white lady had showed up in 19, said she was Michelle's mother. She walks up to me. Now my head feels like it's going to explode. She walks up and she's like, the FBI tipped you because they wanted the truth out of you. I thought, shut up, my headers. I didn't say anything. They come in and they're flashing badges. They're with her, talking about being FBI. Yeah, in the back. They were drug cartel. You know, you can get the FBI badge off of Amazon for $50. People need to really start checking credentials. Go in the back. Dr. Elena Tinas is checking my head for the dent. Said we need to get a CAT scan. He goes to walk out of the room, closes the curtain, and they're out there. Now, they didn't say it to him. They said it to someone right outside my room. And they got cameras everywhere. Was like, no, sometime master nerd. It's like, shut up. Other people out there talking about the gunshot night. I go to use the bathroom. One of the nurses were that weird Eric that laughed at everybody for falling for this and mocked him. He's trying to pull the scam. He's talking to a nurse, and she's breaking HIPAA violation, bad-mouthing somebody in the emergency room. I go back to the room, and security's calling me bad names. I leave, and I go over to Mercy Medical. Oh, I reported all that shit. Administration's like, my staff will not participate in this. I'll take care of them. I go to Mercy Medical, and I tell my ex-husband tried to have me killed, and he's got people running scams on me. And I go in there, some lady came in, no man was ever to touch her. Okay? The nurse comes in, the only thing they had you on was adjusting yourself. The guy said, that's sick. Said, no, it's funny. She simply wiped off water with clothes on. The guy said, that's sick. And said, no, it's funny. She just brushed it off. They didn't have anything else. That's where January of 22, a ladies group came down from Ravenna, told a bunch of people that they made a big mistake being in my home, that I'd never said I did anything wrong before. Never talked to anybody either. That when she simply wiped off the water, she went straight down, didn't expose herself. And those people raped her. See what I mean? That's why they didn't know about it. That's where March 1st to 3rd of 21, they said they put clips together, put me in a porn. It's not her, it's them. And then later on, they started making up a scenario, never happened. Made my stomach bleed. I didn't know. Find out they were playing with me. And then they kept saying different things didn't happen. I thought, well, you put my head on somebody else's body, it's clips together. Then I got to thinking, well, what would you be doing? It sounds like you got undressing out in the shower and you're washing yourself. Walked out of smoke. Outside of smoke, she figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, they found a tape of them emitting a shower scene in the other room. May 26th, 22 at noon, the shower scene was done on purpose to make you look weird. They told Ed at the local department December 9, 21, 4 p.m. that all the tapes before were them and not me. It's just a bunch of men doing crimes here. And the same day, white man bald with dark eyes distributing food at the Stark County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street was one of my guards during the case. We always knew the tapes before were them and not her, so we never said a word. They told my client in Canton, not Canton, in Navarre, the next door neighbor, that Pete ordered everything drugged, photoshopped, and made up on me. She talked to the Canton FBI in 22. It was February and March of 22. From the first month of the case, a little white man coming up for every other word you tell unless I'll turn it on you. Try to leave Dave unless you're child molester. You know that bruise on your leg? I used sodium pentothal on you. It's not funny. I had a big bruise and I've been throwing up all morning. And you told me that you were wearing this one nightgown, bent over and probably accidentally seen your butt. Life of pain. You tried to leave Dave and threatens me again. I got away from that freak. Did it in front of the police and feds. Okay? And I went home to legally barked house. Dave verified I was dressed modestly and they only seen the back of my knees. And then they would laugh in my face in front of the police and feds, where you had bruises before, throwing up and infected. That was us. We were drugged, beat, and raping you. We had drugged you and told you to say this. We had drugged you and told you to say that. We photoshopped all our lies. We erased some guy named Chris out of the room. By January 19, it was a feminine wipey above the toilet in another room. They admitted it for me March 24, 22, 1:30. May 25th, 21, 6 p.m., Louisville and Wendy's, other church people breaking in before drugging me and telling me say weird unmolested stuff. 8/9/21, the apartment building for me, second close offense. A lady and little girls were outside talking about it. 1295 Fairland. January 1922, 11 o'clock in the morning, they told the Department of Disability I was drugged and told to say it before. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory. A Latino man admitted he drugged me first and told me to say it. People were screaming in other stores, running out of their houses on 6th Street. It was a chaos day. An investigator from Ravenna in a black Sebring pulled up. I seen her out today. I found out that bastard really did drug her and tell her to say it before. Officer Mark documented in August of 23 that it's documented and verified I was framed before. And it was a drug cartel. They consider Bill and his friends cartel. Well, this is his initiation. They consider him cartel. And them was a cartel before. We've seen him. It's documented and verified another woman was using her insurance and it was a medication error that made her sick before. Okay? FBI informant. That was August of 23. Like Walter Moss said, it's a fraud scheme, this whole thing. See, there was this lady at this one office I would go. She's an RN nurse. And she told me, she said, I was on an online chat about what to look for human trafficking victims. She said one of the scams they're running on human trafficking victims is they're telling the girls they're releasing they chip them. And if they tell law enforcement, there's nowhere they can hide them because they can find them and they'll kill them. It's a way of getting away with rape. I wasn't the only one they did it to. Sheriff Grady is a sheriff in Florida. Deals with the human traffickers all the time. He did a speech on them. He said the Florida human traffickers will have up to 100 people watch 14 people at a time that they're running scams on. And they run scams on them so law enforcement won't help them. And when law enforcement finds out they're being scammed, they have to physically go in and save the person because they no longer trust law enforcement. And they run the scams on people so law enforcement won't help them. And they make sure that 100 people, make sure those 14 people at a time they're running scams on, that no one helps them. This is how Florida works. Shame on law enforcement. Shame on them. Falling for a drug dealer scam. See where that idiot in my old apartment, how he was one of the, what they call the dumb people walking in their office? He was one of them. Where he said that church is sending out emails asking people to harm me. His religious group hurts people. They didn't do what's right. He didn't call the police. He didn't turn the FBI. No, he signed up to help hurt people. He knew this was Bill's scam to get into the drug cartel. That doctor wasn't mine. That they drugged me up and told me to say it and Photoshop washing. He's in there scamming that agent. With the fraud scheme. He's the one running around telling people they should be afraid that I live here. I'm just the victim. I'm just the victim. He hurts people. He runs scams on them. You know, he was bragging how he was in it with a doctor that's not mine. Works for them. Where they drugged me up and told me to say it. How he was in there trying to pull the drug scam off on that agent. He was there from the beginning. See, I was out working in North Canton in 23. Some teenagers said that church where he said they're sending out emails, they said it too. That church is sending out emails. Asking, showing how big and bad they are. They're sending out the login to the case. Now they're just giving it away. So people can see how bad they had hurt her. So they can show how big and bad they are. Our parents said you don't go to churches like that. They're cults. If they weren't a cult, they would have never said a word to her. And nobody would have touched her. That's why you don't go to churches like that.